Hey there, this is Pam Perry's Picks, and we are on Amazon Live today. And we're going to be talking about some of the favorite books on some of my favorite topics with some of my favorite people. We're going to be talking with Yolanda M. Smith, and we're going to talk about branding. Like, what is a brand? Everybody's a brand now. So these books are hot on Amazon. You can get them today. You can just punch the button. But we're going to actually talk with the author right now. So I'm going to bring up Yolanda M. Smith. There she is.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Excited to be here.
So I am so glad. So first of all, full disclosure, me and Yolanda have been working together for a while. She was at Speak, Sell, and Shine, and she was shining in Washington, D.C. at the Press Club. I'll put the link to her fabulous speaker reel there as well. She was in Speakers Magazine in December. She's going to be, you don't know this, on December or February 28th, that it is. You're going to be on the TV show. I just got that date the other day. So yeah, so
Oh,
that
wow.
is going together. And then you're gonna be speaking somewhere in March, and you're just doing all the
Yes.
things. So the thing that I like, this one we're gonna talk about the 7 strategies to become unforgettable, and then reputation to reward. I
Yes.
will say that I love Yolanda when I first met her. She has such a great uh way about branding that I recommended a couple of people. One person was smart enough to take advantage during her challenge, and actually, she put together like the biggest brand book for them so that they can really get it all together. Terrence Wilson, he's on a whole nother level now. He has clarity, he has a great brand. I mean, from the ground up, it's just superb. And then the other thing that you're doing is really making sure that you're speaking at different places and really letting people know about branding and what that really means. A lot of people think that branding means graphic design, but that's not true. That's a part of brand image, but not branding. So let's kind of, before we get into your strategies from the book, tell us how you got into this space, and then what you teach people about branding and how they really can hire you to help them get clarity.
Yes. Well, thanks first of all for having me here, Dr. Pam. I just enjoy working with you so much. You guys, she is a beast. I mean, you want visibility. She is the girl that can definitely help get you there. But I stumbled up on personal branding because I was a co-chair for a nonprofit, and I really wanted to do something for young girls. They were between the ages of 10 and 18, and literally it just became one of those things where I was looking for something to give them some tools, some resources to boost confidence and just
Mhm.
help them at those tough teen years. That's that identity, those identity
Mhm.
years, right? Trying to
Mhm.
find yourself and who you're going to become. And that's how I stumbled up on personal branding. So I created a workshop, and all the while I've been working in the pharmaceutical industry, but I created a workshop to deliver, and the parents start coming. And then afterwards, I started getting all this feedback from the parents stating that they wish they had the branding, and if they had it, they would teach it to their girls. And so that was my aha moment, that perhaps people don't really know the power of personal branding. And so I leveled up my content, did research, became a certified brand analyst, and the rest is history. I mean, I've been doing it ever since and love it. Yeah.
Wow. Now, dealing with the young girls in terms of their branding, did they understand, what did they think branding meant? Did
I
they
don't
mean,
think, yeah,
they
just
probably think Kim Kardashian.
well, that could be possible. I think what they see, you're right, is the visuals of what they see, and perhaps it's the rap stars, the whatever their generation is holding at that particular time. But they're not unlike the adults, because for a while people just thought personal branding didn't pertain to them, and it was only for Hollywood stars, athletes, and politicians. And
Mhm.
so, certainly, while we know they need to have a powerful brand to be able to do the things that they desire to do, we are all a brand. I mean, you're a brand,
Mhm.
I'm a brand, we're all brands. Now, the question
Mhm.
is, are you cultivating your brand and being strategic and intentional about it?
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
are you letting it organically grow?
Yes. I always tell people, I said, if you don't take control of your brand, then someone else will be taking control of it. A brand is kind of like what people say about you when you leave the room. So when
Yes.
you leave the room, what are they saying?
Right.
What impression are you leaving? What is the thing that you're standing for? And so it is so many a brand can encompass so many senses, touch, taste, sound, uh, feel, smell, even.
Yeah.
There's there's that's why a lot of people will celebrities will have a scent, right? They'll have like that's
Hmm.
part of their brand.
Hmm.
It's because
Hmm.
this is their it's not
Yep.
because, you
Yep.
know, Kylie Jenner or whatever wants to do it's part of their brand extension. So let's talk about the 7 things to become unforgettable. First of all, I love this cover. I love the cover
Thank
and
you.
I love this cover as well, Reputation and Rewards. Now we could talk about this one, but I really want to talk about this
Okay.
one.
Well,
This
reputation to reward started it. It started it. That's your keystone foundation book on how to build your brand, right?
okay,
Right.
okay.
And then when you think about having that brand, then we morph to the 7 strategies to really be able to have impact, right? How do you really
Mhm.
scale it for impact? That's super important because I think sometimes what we do is we build the brand, we get the magnetic messaging, we're ready to tell the world who we are. And then literally we just kind of stop. You have a few quick
Mhm.
wins and then you just don't do it anymore. It's like, if there's not that action and consistency, it doesn't happen. So that's kind of where the book picks up at the 7 strategies to scale the brand. How do you then
Mhm.
scale it so that you can have maximum impact?
I
Yeah,
like this one. Then let's start with the foundation because you did this with Terrence. Mastering your brand signature to earn more, lead more, and win more. So when we
correct.
talk about your brand signature, is it a brand talk? Is it your brand messaging? Is it your brand colors? What? Because you definitely are intentional. I see the
Yes.
the teal in the background and the
Yes.
gold because it's in your background. It's in a lot of different things.
Yes.
Before we get to really about what you do with the signature, tell us about why you chose the colors that you chose.
Well, I think colors, well, I don't think I know. Colors have meaning, and it's really all about what you're wanting to resonate to someone. And when I think of a brand, I think of quality. I think it's important to build trust, and shades of
Mhm.
blue build the trust, and allow there to be also sort of that sort of academic lens to it. Me being a coach, a consultant, but definitely wanting to pull in the trust factor. Green, so this is how the teal came to be, really is that color of openness, prosperity. Kind of gives you that whole earthy vibe, where you feel like you can grow. It's the growth, right? The
Yeah.
growth that comes into it. And then a little splash of gold just to really pull in a little luxury.
Mhm.
I'd like
Mhm.
to think that, I represent a luxury brand for people and that they too can have the opportunity to be able to ignite their brand in their industry, in their marketplace, and become the sought after authority.
I like that. There is an organization I'm a part of that actually has some of the same colors as Black Door Society. They are teal, black, and gold. And it was the
Okay.
same thing. The teal was like a royalty, a trust, the gold
Hmm.
actually luxury, and then black, obviously, because we're a black organization. That was one of the
Hmm.
things that they used. So
Hmm.
it was what the organization is, I think, 4 years old. So when we were sitting around trying to figure out what the brand of what Black Door Society was, the first thing we talked about was the colors. What do they represent?
That's
How will
right.
the logo look? And this and that. So I'm getting ahead of it because I love branding. I do because people need a brand in
Yes.
order to promote them in other places. So if I want to put you on radio, on a podcast, if I want to put you on television, your brand has to be strong in order to get PR. PR doesn't give you the brand. PR just amplifies it.
That's right.
So this is step number 1. Well, actually,
Correct.
this is step number 1, and then to amplify it with number 2.
Number two.
So
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes.
ask this question, the big question on the back of this book. It says, "What is the thing that distinguishes you from the crowd that makes you stand
Hmm.
out?" So
Hmm.
at one point, you were doing it for young ladies, you were doing it
Yes.
for young girls,
Yes.
and then you start doing it for their parents. Then you start doing it for corporations,
Yes,
and
I
then
did.
definitely speaking it to organizations, power networking conference, and
Yeah.
just different stages where I've seen you You on Press Club, you've been there, so you're looking at this. What is the thing that makes people stand out?
Mhm.
And how do you, the process of how do you pull that out of people to get them to understand their brand?
So it's a couple different things. The first thing is really going kind of through the 5-step process where you really focus on authenticity. Who are you, right? Then it's your value. Do you understand your value? Because here's the challenge. We as individuals, I can say great things about you, but will you say them about yourself, right? Sometimes we really struggle talking about ourselves. We can be very modest in ways because we don't want to come across as arrogant or tooting our own horn. But
Mhm.
certainly, if you're not telling your story, somebody else is, right? And if you're not helping me understand the value you can deliver, I can never tap you on the shoulder for the things you do well. Then from there, you really have to cultivate that story. What is that? I call it your brand statement, right? That brand signature. What is that if I ask you, who are you and what you do? And so it's a process of putting all of these into place and then really understanding where you differentiate. What is that unique value proposition? And
Mm.
that's really understanding your competition, what they do well, and maybe the gaps that exist with them, and then understanding you and what you do well or what you may be willing to do well, because oftentimes you can differentiate on what someone else doesn't want to do. If you do the things that your competition doesn't do, that automatically sets you apart, right? So it's
Mhm.
looking for
Mhm.
those points and intersections where you can rise above. This is a crowded market out here. Let's be clear. It is
It is.
crowded, right? It is crowded. So why is somebody going to pick you? And what do you need to do to become the OVO, their only viable option?
I like that. You just dropped a lot of nuggets right there. Okay. Value proposition, what it is to study your competition, to understand what you're bringing to the table. What is it that makes you stand out? And it is crowded. If everything is equal and you have everybody has the same degree, everybody has the same training, maybe the same years of experience, then what is that one thing is going to make you rise above so
That's
that
right.
you are picked?
That's right.
And that is where the branding comes in.
That's right.
So who needs branding? uh, you started with the young girls because you saw it as a way for confidence building. It's kind of like knowing who you are and your identity. But
Yes.
who really needs to build a brand? Do doctors need a brand?
Everybody needs a brand. I mean, literally everybody needs a brand. And now how you utilize your brand is predicated on what you want to achieve, right? How you can be very robust with the brand or you can be subtle with the brand. You go with, it's all about the goals you want to achieve. But when you think about who needs one, we already have one, first of all. So what do you need to do with that brand to help you accomplish the goals that you have? And how can you become visible and get the recognition that you deserve? So corporate professionals, absolutely. Executives, absolutely. We hear a lot about executive presence. What does that look like? How do you show up, right? Then you
Hmm.
think about coaches, speakers, entrepreneurs, smaller business owners. I mean, you have to have a brand to be able to stand out in this marketplace. And especially since COVID, we have really adopted a very digital landscape and we're not going back. And so recognizing that things are very digital, what do you need to do to create that positive digital footprint so that you can be discoverable, right?
Mhm.
When I discover you, I understand some of your story, you look approachable. It's all these things that matter because within a swipe, a click, or just a scroll, guess what? Somebody's making a judgment about you.
They are. They
Yeah.
really are. And that's one of the things. The thing that I like that you help people discover when you do your challenge. So what is the website too that I want people to go to? I know they can go to Yolanda M. Smith, but your next challenge that you can put it in the chat, or
Yeah, I was gonna say, boy, I don't know if I know that one off my
well,
head.
they could
But
go to Yolanda M. Smith. But one of the
yeah,
things that I like is that you help people understand or discover their personal brand and how to scale it. But you ask them, who is your target audience? Who do you want to reach with your
yeah,
brand?
yeah.
What channels are you using to promote your brand? And are you utilizing other channels, mail marketing and that kind of thing? But that one part, that target audience, right? Like, who's my
Huge.
target audience?
Yes.
And then you really break down not just like the main target, but the secondary, and then you go into the other thing and you make people really study or reflect on what it is that question is says, what who do you want to reach with your brand? It's
Yes.
like, well, who do you
Yeah.
want? And of course, everybody says, I want to reach everybody. I want to reach
Yeah.
everybody. I want everybody in the world to just know who I
That's
am.
right.
It's like, no, but it's like it's a target. It's a specific one. So the one that I like is these 7 questions that you ask in terms of the last one you asked, what is your long-term vision for your personal brand and how do you see it evolving over time?
Mhm.
I love all those questions because it was like you were like really in the it's an art and a science. Branding is an art, but it's also a science. So you're in the science part of that.
Mhm.
How did I know you got certified in that, but just the interest of you being in this, how did that story evolve of you wanting to be from pharmaceutical and then being in corporate and then really having someone asking you to speak on branding? Like how
Yeah.
did that evolve? Did you see that as important at one point and you said this is my lane of genius?
You know what? I sort of did. I think when I was doing it with the girls and then I seen the excitement from the parents, what I did is I actually while working in corporate at the pharmaceutical industry, we have these employee resource groups, right? And so the African American employee resource group does a forum every year, and I got asked about doing a workshop, and I said absolutely. So I thought this is a great time to kind of show off my material, right? Let's see if
Right.
this really resonates. So I
Yes.
literally created a speech presentation, if you will. And it was probably, I think it was a morning and an afternoon session. And my presentation was signed up for so it was amazing that literally I think I had over 400 people per session, right? So here I
Wow.
am on this stage. I had
And
never,
it's the first
I
time you actually put that together. It's the first time you actually
Oh,
did that.
for the corporate profession for the professionals, yes,
Right.
in a way that, yeah, from the kids. And I get on stage and I deliver this thing, and afterwards, keep in mind 38,000 people strong in the whole organization, but probably about 1,200 people come here. So 800 of them decided to make their way to my session, one of the sessions. And afterwards, the line was around the stage of people wanting to talk to me. And I could hear people saying, who is she? Where'd she come from? Well, heck, I was an employee right here at the company, but they thought I was a hired professional speaker. And I just knew it. There was a feeling there. You knew you had hit a sweet spot, and the
Mhm.
rest for real was history. That was in
Oh,
2016. Yep,
wow.
that was
See,
in
that's the
2016.
thing. And
Yeah.
the employee resource groups, that is a really good area to really, if you're working in corporate, to really test out the thing that you're passionate about of talking about. And
Yes.
for
Yes.
you, it hit home run. So you do speak to, obviously you have the books and you're selling the books, but you do speak to other organizations and things like
Oh
that
yeah.
on stages. So what
Correct.
is your favorite or target market, I guess you would say? Who do you really want to reach with your message?
Yeah. So my primary audience are coaches, speakers, um, entrepreneurs. I know it sounds like a broad audience, but it really isn't, because a coach is an entrepreneur, speaker is an entrepreneur in a lot of cases, or it's corporate professionals that are transitioning into
Yes.
entrepreneurship. Because when I look at what I do, I'm a personal branding expert and business strategist. So taking all the 30 some odd years I had in corporate America doing business strategy, marketing, all these things, communications, I pull that in and say, okay, I can help you build the brand, but you also have to build a sustainable business. You
Business.
need a strategic framework for your business so that you're not one of those who's out of business within 2 to 5 years, right? Most
Mhm.
businesses are out of business in 2 to 5 years. So how do you make sure you're not one of those? And so that's what I've been teaching lately. And that's what we do at the 5-day challenge that I host, about every 6 weeks, and then just
Mhm.
bring in individuals who are really ready to take it to the next level. And how do I build that brand? And what do I say? Because you're
Mhm.
not your job title. And that's where people got stuck.
Yeah. And people ask you, well, what is your brand? And they'll just say, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, or I'm
Right.
this and that. And
Right.
it's not. That is not it. The
Yeah.
thing that I like that you do that is different from most people who say they are branding experts or that they teach branding is that you do go into the graphics and the visuals, but it's more than that. You really tell them about how the brand will build a sustainable business. And
Yes.
that's really like because of your, you know, decades long of being in corporate and being in the business field and being successful in that, and then taking this part about the branding and then
Yes.
say, hey, this is how we build the business. This is how
Yes.
it makes it sustainable. So I'm going to ask you a question. Who do you see that does branding well? It could be in the entertainment field, or it can be, one of the ones that you maybe give as a story in some of your presentations of
Hmm.
someone who built a brand
Hmm.
that you can give an example to of you can see intentionally how they're building that brand, or you can give a story about it. Like, I think about Oprah and how she's evolved when she first started, how her
Hmm.
colors were a certain color and now they're different. But looking at just how, even with her logo, when she does do a change in the branding. But for you, what are some of the brand heroes, I guess you would say?
Yes. Well, Steve Jobs is number one. I mean, he did it. He
Huh.
did it very, very well. I
Okay.
mean, one of the things he did, if you looked at Steve Jobs, even from the way he dressed,
Hmm.
to what he represented, and he was synonymous with Apple. It
Yes.
represented simplicity. That's why you saw him that way. You look at the Apple packaging, everything. It was all about keeping things simple, right? And so
What
that
does
is
the Apple have to do anything with anything? I mean,
what does
just
the Starbucks lady what where does that come from? You
I guess
understand? But it's
it's
memorable. But it's
yes, it's
memorable.
memorable.
But
Mhm.
one of the things, the reason I say Steve Jobs is they were magnificent in the branding of it, and he represented it. If it's simplicity, he kept himself simple. If you think about black turtleneck, his jeans, and his tennis shoes, I mean that's just what was his sort of signature, his
Mhm.
signature look, if you will. But what they did was phenomenal because it's all about building that trust. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And they were fabulous at doing that and creating a need when you didn't even know you had one. And you stand around the corner or around buildings blocks long waiting to get the next new thing that you didn't really know what it did. They might have said, oh, the camera's better, or it's going to have this widget on it, and you didn't really know. You just wanted to be on the end thing because they had built such a trusting relationship with their audience. And that's
Mhm.
the power of the brand. So if I can get you to know, like, and trust me, then whatever I bring out to the marketplace, you're likely to say I'm in because I believe in that person. So that's a pretty significant one. Who's taking a brand evolution right now? I tell you, it's Fantasia. I've been watching her
That's right.
evolve, and
Yeah.
she's been really coming out, from the
America's
young
Idol.
kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, from the young girl to now a blossoming woman, and really taking that to all levels. Her stylist is on point with her look. She's coming out, she's very articulate and clear
Vocal.
about what she's
Mhm.
trying to say. She's using her voice now where she would have never used her voice before. So you just pay attention to
True.
different things and you see
That's
people
true.
and how they evolve, and you can use them as an example. There's also examples of people that didn't do it super well, that hit the media and can find themselves just in a brand crisis overnight. So we've got to try to
Mhm.
avoid those things and always be top of mind, understanding that our actions, online or offline, are all going to feed into our brand. What we do, what we say, how we act, what we post, the whole nine feeds
Mhm.
into who people perceive us to be.
And being authentic. You
Yeah.
talk a little bit about being authentic. The main thing you talk about is consistency, transparency, vulnerability,
Yes.
receptiveness, originality. That's
Yeah.
one of the things. I mean, you can admire Oprah, but no one can be Oprah, right? Like, so
There you
that's
go.
one of the
She's
things. So
already taken. She's
She's
already
already
taken.
she's already taken, but you can learn from that. And
Yes.
so one of the things I want people to connect with you on Instagram and on LinkedIn,
Yes.
the branding for success, that's where they
Yes.
can
With the
find it.
number
The
4.
branding with the number 4 for
Yes.
success, so that's already taken. So people can't do that. But I want people to really, it's more like it's a book, but then it's also like a workbook where you can actually be reflective
Yes.
in this as well. And then this one here, uh, the other book is, I would say this is the foundation, because you find in here about why branding, and then also too it has like the little charts and things like that. It's almost like
Hmm.
a textbook. So you
Yeah.
do want to make sure that you do that, and you give people really specifics of what they can do if they're going
Yes.
to optimize their social media brand. uh Keep the same profile picture, you said
Yes.
the same
Consistency
imagery
matters. Yes.
across.
Yes.
And the thing that is funny about having a brand in social media, sometimes when you keep it consistent, people think they know you. And then when you go out in real life, people see you and they immediately know you because it's the same type of picture. Now,
Yes.
do we change? Yes, we do change.
Yes.
Sometimes we change our hair color, our hairstyle,
Yes.
whatever,
Yes.
whatever, but don't
Yes.
look so different that
It's
you
hard
go
to
to speak
recognize
some
you.
yeah,
Yes.
you go to speak somewhere and you come on the stage and they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, who was that?" So it's
Unless
like
that is your brand. It has to be your brand, though. That would have to be your brand where and
you
only a
looking
few
really
can pull
different.
that off, right? Only a few can pull that off. Yeah.
Yes,
I know
yes.
a
I
girl,
think of
she's got a
maybe Erica
powerful,
Badu or something like that. Maybe that's just her thing where she wants to just look different all the time. So
yeah,
that could be
yeah,
part of her brand to
the
look different.
brand.
So yeah,
Yeah,
you do want, or
yeah.
even I think of Jill Scott. Jill Scott always has different looks, just consistently, just part of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but
So yeah, so
they're
that's one of
showmen. You know what I mean? The thing is that yeah, they can do that. They're on stage. They're there for a reason to show and to really pull it out. But if you're every day, you want to keep some level of consistency so you can be discoverable and people know that that's you. They feel relatively certain. I mean, because you already know, you go to find somebody on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you're looking at these little bitty pictures and you're trying to figure out, is that them? Is that not them? The easier you make it on them, right? The easier it is for somebody to find you then. Yeah. So
Mhm. I
certainly.
like that. I like where we're talking at the beginning of this particular one here about reputation to reward. It
Hmm.
says your personal brand is how you communicate and demonstrate your relevance and business character.
There you
So
go.
you always take it back to business, about building and scaling your business. And it says your brand signature, like your passion, will keep you standing when people try to knock you down. And
Yes.
it's whether you have a business or in corporate, it's the same thing. If your corporate job, your brand is really what will keep you promoted or keeping you sustained when people try to say certain things and say, nah, I don't think so. That's not our brand. She
There
wouldn't
you go.
she
There
wouldn't
you
do
go.
that.
That's
So
why
it's
you
it
have
is
to connect, right? You have to have
yes.
connection and people have to know you and know your story because when they do, that's when the magic happens, right? Those are the people that
Mhm.
are going to promote you, nominate you, sponsor you, do business with you. Heck, they'll even marry you and loan you money if they feel like they know you, right? That's how that works. That's how that works. I mean, because the world is connection. And I was just sharing in the challenge, I said, your network is your net worth. Your
Mhm.
network is your net worth. I mean, because you become the average of the five people you spend the most time with. So,
That is
who are
so
those
true.
five people that you are really hanging around? Is it people that can pour into you? Which is why we consistently say you need coaches. You don't need to go it alone. You need to be around people, get yourselves in these rooms, invest in yourself so that you can always be upskilling and around people that can pour into you and you not be the big cheese all the time pouring into everybody else.
That is so true because if you are the smartest one in the room, you need a new room,
Yeah.
okay? Because you're not going to grow. And when you don't grow, you're not going to change. You won't challenge. That
No.
is so important. George Frazier, a mentor, both of ours, he always says that your network is your net worth.
Mhm.
And being around people that will coach you, but also keep you accountable. If you
Yes.
have a goal, and your goal is a financial goal, say I want to make an additional 250,000 or 2 million this year,
Yeah.
then you have a plan, you've written the plan out, and then you need someone to keep you accountable. It's so easy
Yeah.
to make
Yes.
a promise to yourself and then figure like, oh, if I make it, I don't make it. But if you have a coach, the coach is with you every week
Hey, you
and
and
saying,
me especially, you gonna get it done.
it's
But
like,
they
okay,
say
so
she
we
is a no nonsense, get her done. What are you waiting for? Type coach. Oh, funny.
yes, yes. It's kind of
Yes,
like,
but
so where are you right now on that?
right,
Where
right.
what is holding you back? And really a lot of times it does take that. And I know people that if they had started, maybe if they had just speak sell shine maybe last year, where they would be this year.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They waited. So they have to wait. You know what I'm saying? It's just like certain things. It's like if you had just started earlier, think about where you would be right now.
That's why we
So
say
don't
now, no
wait.
opportunity wasted. now.
Yes.
No
Yes.
opportunity wasted.
I love that. That
Yes.
part.
Yes.
That is so cool. That is so
Yes.
cool. So I want people to go to Yolanda M. Smith. Do you have anything there that you want them to download? Is there a freebie there?
They
Is
can
there
go
some
there. Look, there's all kind of goodies there, but there's a free master class that you can, and it
come
talks
on now.
about really the 3 secrets to building a
Yes.
powerful brand and what successful people do. Free master
That
class, go there.
that
I've
part.
got the
Yes.
free digital blueprint to help you to really be able to show up and scale your brand and scale your brand. So, and then of course, the books are at Amazon, or they on the
Mhm.
website too. Actually, if you want a signed
Mhm.
copy, get it off the website, and then I'll sign it and ship it to you. There
Mhm,
you go.
mhm.
Yeah, you can
Yes,
do
yes,
that.
so that will
Yeah,
be good. So, make
yeah.
sure you go to Yolanda M. Smith, get her master class, alright? Make sure you do that, and when you get the master class, get the books, and then go through the challenge, and then you
Woo-hoo.
understand a lot of this.
Yes.
Don't wait. Think about where you would be a year from now because you have taken advantage of the opportunities now, no
Now,
opportunity wasted, so
there
that's
you
one of the
go.
main things. I love these colors too, by the way. So thank you so much for joining us today, Yolanda M. Smith. This has been really, really good. So
My
thank you for
pleasure.
joining us, and we will talk with you soon. Alrighty, take
Absolutely.
care.
Thank
Alrighty,
you. Take
bye-bye.
care. Bye.